Hello, everybody, and welcome to the very first Winning Agenda video special. I'm your host, Brian Holland, here with Judge Tom Daniel. How are you, Tom?
Yeah, very good, Brian.
Yeah, this is our first foray into video content, so please forgive us if there's any issues with the quality or anything like that, and we're certainly open to feedback. So, Tom, what are we looking at here?
So this is round 6 of the Melbourne Netrunner League, a league that we started just about 6 weeks ago. We've got a fellow Winning Agenda host, Liam Prasad, on the left, and Jesse Marshall will be on the right, playing in what is their final round of league.
We should also point out that this is their second game. Jesse is up a game at the moment. We didn't get a chance to record the first one, so we thought we'd jump in and record the second one here. This is actually also at the Games Capital in Canberra when we were up for CanCon this past weekend.
Yeah, shout outs to everyone at Canberra, Glenn at the Games Capital. Fantastic place, and they let us use the space. We'll take a look at the decks that they're playing. Brian, why don't you talk a little bit about Liam's near-Earth hub list?
Yeah, so Liam's playing a fairly standard aggressive near-Earth hub list, something you might see at your local game night, standard 3 Astro, 3 Beal, 3 Shipment, 3 Fast Track, 3 Biotic Labour, everything you need. It's certainly going to try and pump out those agendas very quickly and hopefully very efficiently as well. So hopefully Kate is a little bit slower, so Liam's probably going to try and gain that advantage in the early game before Jesse has a chance to set up his rig and start making those efficient runs.
So with the league, Jesse knew that he was up against Liam this week and wanted to kind of change his deck to, I guess, hedge against what he believed Liam would play, because they do test a lot against each other. So he's actually switched this list around, taken out some Desperados, and he's actually playing Astrolabe to try and get some extra card draw to, I guess, get to where he wants to be a bit quicker.
And not to mention freeing up those 6 influence as well.
Yeah, exactly. And he's chucked an account siphon in the deck with that influence, probably chopped and changed some other things. So I think we're actually in for a pretty interesting match. We'll see if those cards really come into play.
Okay, so the game started here. Both players have taken their mulligans, and Liam's up. That's his mandatory draw.
I guess from these type of lists, you want to be seeing an opening hand that is going to give you that early start, usually an Astro script, and an easy way to score it out.
Of course. And that early card draw, so you notice he installed into the new remote to draw the card. May have been his third ice he needed to protect all his servers and that scoring server eventually. So we're seeing a pop-up window there. Very good for early game econ. Jesse gets the access. He steals a NAPD contract for 4, going to 0 credits. So tempo swing.
Yeah, if you're the near-Earth hub player here, are you happy to see that?
Look, I mean, your opponent scoring 2 points is never good, but having them go down to 0 credits is not fantastic. And Jesse had to click for a credit there in order to play his Astrolabe as well. So already a little bit inefficient on the runner side there. So Liam's installing out, actually. Looks like he's trying to create a bit of a deeper server there. Probably for a Sansan or a Jackson. To Jackson into some agendas. And he's going to gain a credit past turn. So what are you doing here as runner, Tom?
Look, I think he still wants to be trying to face check a little bit, wants Liam to dip down on credits, obviously below that point where he can kind of raise the Sansan, score out an Astro script easily. He wants him to stop. He wants him to not have the ability to float those credits.
I think, really needs to force him to res some of that ice. I mean, the worst thing that can happen with face checking in your sub deck is perhaps maybe an errand boy or a roto turret. And when he's got no programs out, it's not a huge risk. But it looks like he's just gaining some credits and indexing. So through the pop-up window, hoping to steal a couple of agendas off the top there.
This is a very, very, very aggressive start.
Okay, there's a Sansan, a Fast Track, an NAPD on top, an ice there. I think it might be a paper wall, and a sweep sweep. So looks like he's going to bury the NAPD.
The issue is that he's playing a very, I guess, mid-range to control type of list. He's got professional contacts and things like that. And that NAPD is a massive tempo hit for him. So,
and he really wants to go to the long game. So it looks like he's run that and hit the paper wall and bounced off it. It's Liam's favourite ice, I think. So he's going to shipment there. And he's actually, he's just an Astro by itself. There you go. Yeah. Very good. And he used the shipment even though he had plenty of credits, and that's really how you need to use that card, I think.
Absolutely. Like we said, he really wants to be able to float enough credits to be able to Biotic Labour or to res those Sansans and things like that. And look, it might have been a pretty risky play I guess, considering that Jesse could have thrown down some breakers or.
Well, that said, Jesse didn't really have a lot of money at that point,
Correct. So probably safer than I thought.
And the quandary is going to obnoxiously keep him out of HQ as well. So
that's the big advantage. I know Wolfie is a big proponent of these paper walls and quandaries and stuff like that, or at least he was when they first came out. Is really just binary ice, where it's either you just force them to get out their breaker.
Exactly right. Well, now Kuroda's out, that paper wall is not long for this world, and any other paper walls lately in plays are certainly going to be very ballsy face down ice.
The paper wall did what it needed to do.
It did exactly what it had to do, exactly right, and kept him out, and he scored that first Astro. He's got that token there. Looks like is that another Astro? No, that's a Jackson.
Yep.
So install, use. He's probably digging for that agenda or that Sansan.
Mm-hmm. So at this stage, Jesse's probably been counting. I believe the NAPD is the next card on top.
I think so, yeah. So he's installed with the Jackson there, so
he can safely assume that that's the Sansan that he also saw off the top.
Exactly right, yeah. Okay, Jesse's going to draw for his first click.
Gain 2.
And what's he got? He's going to install self-modifying code.
Mm.
So you can, to save that money, maybe crack at the end of Liam's turn, go get something he needs. But he's still very low on credits.
Yeah, he could go get the Parasite to kill either the pop-up or the Quandary. But at this stage, usually with this type of deck, you'd want to have your professional contact set now and be, drawing and just have, 5-10 credits. So he's really not where he wants to be.
No, Liam's just used a sweep then, gaining 5.
Yeah.
And he's going to install over archives? No?
I wouldn't know what the point of installing over archives at this point would be.
This point, no. This deck isn't that frightened of Data Sucker. Really, because there's got no ice that's Data Sucker's particularly good against, and most of the ice will die to a naked Parasite a lot of the time.
Looks like Jesse's tanking here about if he wants to go get the Parasite. That's what my guess would be.
No, he's drawn for turn. So that's 1 click down. Then he's installed modded an R&D interface, I believe. So that's a very good Kate play. So you get your R&D interface for free.
And Maker's Eye.
Maker's Eye, so very ballsy play again.
So
he takes 1 from the pop-up. He's going to use Jackson.
So this is either because the NAPD was on top, so he could have thought that he did bury an agenda there, and thinks that there's something on top, or that he just wants to reduce the chance. I mean, this is a massive access. This is 4 cards. So if he's shuffling in 3 non-agendas, he's going to reduce it by a good percentage.
Sure. All right, Jesse's going to cut here. We're going to see 4 cards, and Jesse can even scrape 2 points out of here. It's going to look okay for him. So we've got an Eli there, non-agenda, a sweep, and then Liam's attempted to show the camera, but it's missed us a little bit. But it looks like Jesse's bricked 4 cards, which is really not what he wanted.
And especially this is not what he wants. Is this probable agenda?
Down here, Sansan resed, advance, and what is it going to be? It's another Astro, so they've both got a counter on them. So, and he's got a res Sansan, so Jesse's really not in a good place right now, unfortunately.
I mean, it would be okay, I think, if he didn't have an agenda in hand. Jesse would have been fine with that, because he knows the top 4 cards of his deck are bricks. He doesn't have a Jackson in play, so he can't accelerate through that, and he would have two turns to kind of build up and get to.
I think he really needs to get through that quandary and start trying to flush out HQ. And if he knows there's no agendas in HQ, then that's what we're seeing. So he's seeing the Parasite there. And he's going to run HQ a few times.
Yeah.
Probably try and sneak out any agendas there. If he sees a Jackson, though, I don't think he's able to trash it.
No, he's not.
Which is unfortunate. So he can try and keep an R&D lock on him if he continuously runs HQ. So it'll be interesting to see if Liam does protect HQ here. Or if he does have that agenda in hand, he's going to sneak it out for practically nothing.
The deck is a very ice-light deck, and especially now with the Kuroda out, the paper wall is. Oh, he's got the fast track.
Fast track, of course, yeah.
So this is amazing.
Yeah, so this is click 1 fast track, click 2 install, and advance for 0 credits if you wish. But I've got a feeling he's probably just going to use his credits and have 3 Astro counters.
No, I think he's just going to score it because he's got these 2 Astro counters. So first click fast track, second click install.
Yep, there you go. He's still got 2 Astro counters going. He's on 6 points to Jesse's 2. And this is looking pretty bleak for the runner.
he needs to, even to get through that pop up, he's going to have to spend a credit.
Well,
He just gains 3.
He's going to have to try and lock him here. So, no, he passed turn. No, so there's no R&D run. So if he has it. No, so he's installing to draw a card. That's probably a Jackson or another Sansan. It's the Jackson, so he's going to draw again. He's just digging for an agenda. Even if he has a breaking news here, he can just install advance on his last click with those 2 counters.
If he has any agenda that is not an NAPD, he can win right here.
Yeah. So what's he got? He's going to gain a credit and go to move to discard. So Jesse's got himself a turn here. He really needs to run through R&D probably and just try and get there, or try and flush him out. That said, because Liam didn't win on the spot, that's a fairly good indicator that he doesn't have an agenda in hand.
If Jesse has the one of account siphon in his hand, it could be a pretty big blowout because he can hit that. He can make him dry and probably hit that Sansan and trash it.
So there's another RDI. Okay, he's going to run through, pay the 1 for pop-up. Fortunately, if Jesse does hit an NAPD, he can't buy it, and Liam can score it if he does draw it. So he's not using Jackson. So it's a score for a Beal. Another score, so they're both on 6 now, so alright. So he's going to draw for turn. Jackson.
Has he got another 3-2? That's most of them are gone. That's 5 of the 6 3-for-2s. There's still the 2.
He is playing the 2 breaking news. He's going Jackson again.
Yep.
So that's click 2. He's got 1 click left.
I imagine he would have slammed the breaking news if he had it. So.
Of course, yeah.
Oh, here it is.
No, use it. Advance. Score breaking news. Yep, and that's game. Yep. Yes, a very aggressive and efficient start from Liam Prasad.
Yep.
Shake hand. Good. Always good to see a handshake after the end of a match.
Yeah. So I guess what was the real feel of that match? What do you think happened there?
I think Jesse had a bit of an unfortunate start. You know, we all know that his deck really nice to see a professional contacts early on. I don't think we saw on the entire game. He's probably second guessing the Astrolabe play. If that Astrolabe had been a Desperado, might have been a little bit different. Getting into R&D through that pop-up window for net 0 credits would have made a difference. But yeah, I think it was just a bit of a slow start for a slow control deck against a very aggressive list. And yeah, so it just didn't quite go the way Jesse needed it to go.
Do you feel like Jesse was, I guess, pressured or forced into playing the aggressive game there, and just because Near Earth Hub is a very aggressive list and can get the game finished very quickly?
No, I think as a control deck with Kate, you sort of worry about coming up against the aggressive list, especially like Near Earth Hub, because it forces you to make those early runs when you ideally want to be developing your board to gear the game toward the late game. And I think it really did force Jesse to have to run early and often, and I think that's just what you have to do. Like, because you see people all the time playing against Near Earth Hub when they're playing a slower deck, and they sit there and they build up their rig, and then they complain because the opponent's just sitting there scoring agendas, and it's because they're not running anywhere or doing anything about it. And that's I think Jesse knows that, and that's why I had to go in, and it was at the sacrifice of a few things, so like scoring that early NAPD, even if it brought him down to 0 credits, he just had to do it.
Yeah, look, it's quite kind of the typical matchup. You know, if we had seen Jesse maybe get the professional contacts earlier and start gearing up, it would have been a completely different match. That being said, you know, those aggressive lists can still go under a lot of these control decks.
Oh, of course. Yeah, that's very true. So, well, that was the league match for round 6. So Jesse and Liam are both on 2 points at the end of that match. So I think that they're both pretty much locked for top 8 at that stage. Tom Daniel, let's take us through the future for our video content. Where do you see us going with this? So we've got the league top 8. Hopefully we'll get a few matches of that going. I think we've recorded some testing games between Liam and Jesse as well, which we might be loading up.
Yeah, so we'll just try and get out a video here and there. Obviously, the main focus for the winning agenda is the podcast, but we really wanted to just, you know, as we did with the podcast, or at least, you know, some high quality content. We really want to do that with the video stuff as well. So, you know, we might take a bit longer, but we want to make sure that it's top notch. And like we said at the start, please, if you've got any feedback, we'd love to hear it.
All right, we look forward to hearing from you soon, guys, and please let us know in the comments or on our Twitter or Facebook pages, The Winning Agenda or @Winning Agenda, what you thought.
See you guys.
Bye.